Monday. It is Monday. It is Monday. And I am sure somebody is asking, what is she doing talking in the chat box? But I am excited, y'all. I got a small piece of voice, and I was determined to use that on tonight. It is Monday. My name is Jabrina Speaks, and you are in the chat box with me. Listen, y'all, I got a hole in my mouth, so if I spit it out while I'm talking, y'all just go ahead and take it in love and then keep on going. But I'm excited to be in the chat box. Let us know that you are here with us. It is Monday night. It is exactly 7:45 p.m. and I am excited. Go ahead and hit the like and the share button. This tonight is going to be very, I believe, empowering. I think it's going to be very informational. And so, if you have ever had to deal with a death, with a funeral, you know what this conversation is about. But if you haven't, and you possibly know that the time may be coming, and then we don't know when the time is going to come, are you ready for when God calls that loved one home? And so I am super excited to have this amazing woman in the chat box with me on tonight. I have the amazing wife. Wife, right, whole wife.
Whole wife.
Whole wife. A woman of God, a mother, and she is the business owner of a Good Shepherd's Funeral Home and Cremation Center. She is not just the owner of that, but she has multiple businesses. And so I'm super excited to have the Miss Victoria Sheppard in the chat box with me, y'all. I can't get too excited because I got to try to save it all in. But let's welcome Miss Victoria. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Tonight, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Listen, I told you we went live.
You just gonna keep your teeth. Keep your teeth in your tongue draw. We're gonna make it.
But God is good because
yes,
just
ma'am.
yesterday you couldn't hear me. And so if y'all could hear me on tonight, just shoot me a thumbs up, some hearts, some love, some something, so I know that you can hear me. I may sound a little raspy, but let me tell you something. Let me give y'all this quick word. One thing my sister told me to tell y'all, no, I don't have COVID.
Gotta say that. You have to make sure.
Right, but I did have, for some odd reason, a case of bronchitis, and so we're working through that. But it was when I can find Jesus in the midst of it all, because in the process of, I think it was Friday or the weekend, I could hear God say, "When I bring your voice back, I am changing your tone. I'm changing the way you speak." And so I am not upset because I have no voice.
Yes, ma'am.
I am just letting God do what He's getting ready to do.
Yeah.
The next level of my life.
Absolutely.
And so y'all work with me tonight. And I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you. So Victoria, tell the people a little bit about you.
So I'm Victoria Sheppard. Me and my husband own Good Shepherd's Funeral Home. I'm sure quite a bit of you guys know who we are. We also have we have 2 locations now. We just newly opened our second location. It's been a year now down in Homestead, which is Florida City, which is doing great, better than we expected. We also have a event center, multi-purpose center, a venue. We do parties, baby showers, gender reveals, repasts. We started that during the repast for our families during COVID, because they had nowhere else to go. So we opened another bay in the same plaza and turned it into a repast facility. So we have that spot. We also have another spot upstairs that we're going to be doing something like paint with a twist with that as well. Our kids own a 360 business. We have that also. So we just young entrepreneurs, just, humbly climbing the ladder, doing what we can,
Come on, 7 streams of income.
We try.
Oh, 7 streams of income. Well, I am super excited to have you in the chat box with me. This conversation is not a conversation that a lot of us like to have. And
right.
the conversation of death is never an easy thing. But unfortunately, it's a conversation that's needed. And then we also know that one day it is going to happen.
Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit about how did you get involved in the whole role, the line, the industry of funeral home?
So, every time I tell this story, they laugh at me. But so I was doing medical billing and coding. I was in the healthcare field, nothing surrounding death at all.
Mm,
However, Dwayne has been in the death care industry ever since he was like a little boy.
mhm,
So he was working for a firm in Pompano, and he kind of came up, up under those guys in Pompano that kind of mentored him and everything, and he became the general manager over at Freeman's Funeral Home.
mhm,
Which is another funeral home that we always, go back and help as well because Mr. Macon has become elderly. But he was the general manager there, and when he was the general manager there, that's when we, started dating while he was there. And he would always talk about eventually having his own funeral home.
mm.
I didn't have a problem with that, but death and bodies were not my thing.
Okay.
And I remember riding with him one day, and he was going to do a removal, and I was there helping them with some paperwork because I used to kind of help with the paperwork piece. And I just was like, okay, listen, as long as you keep this stretcher locked and he don't end up here, we're good. And lo and behold, we got there, and the first stop sign we got to, that stretcher moved, and I was like almost outside the van. I was almost outside the van. But that's where it began. It began just him being a general manager, us helping out down there. And when he got to a place where he could, he branched off, opened the first location down in Oakland Park, and that's been since 2013. So it did take me a long time to get used to being there, with bodies by myself or doing different things. But now I'm actually in school to be a funeral director. So it's progressed. So it's been a good 10 years, a lot to get used to, but you have to realize that sometimes it's not the dead that you have to be afraid of. It's actually the living people that are most, can do the most damage to you. So
We about to
yeah.
flip a whole different conversation, but we are going to stick here. Listen, y'all, it's Monday. You're in the chat box with me, Jabrina Speak, your host, and I have the amazing guest, Miss Victoria Sheppard, and we're talking about the funeral home lifestyle, if I could call it that. And
Yeah.
so you have just mentioned to us how you got involved. After getting involved, tell us a little bit about this process now. Um, now that you're involved,
Okay.
what is it that you do, and how do you serve the families that come in?
So, how we kind of work it with our firms is, Mr. Sheppard, he kind of oversees a particular part, and I take on a particular part of the business, and that's how we kind of make sure things work in a circle. Um, for our funeral home, what I pretty much do, I handle like all the accounting, making sure that the families are paying on time. Anything that kind of comes in dealing with the money, the finances, that's kind of like my lane.
Mhm.
I eventually got into doing pre-need. So when I went to school, because I would always have families that we would serve, they would come back and say, "Do you guys offer pre-need?" And I was like turning them away at one point because legally, you can't take any money from them
Now, now,
unless you're licensed to sell
can you
pre-need.
explain to the people what that is?
So pre-need is basically where you have it's almost like a funeral in advance. So instead of you coming in when someone has already passed away, they can come in and sit with you and do everything in advance.
Okay.
So I can pretty much lock them in. If they want to come in and lock everything in with me at today's rate, I
Hmm.
can sit down and do that with them. And then whenever they expire, I wouldn't charge them anything additional.
So
They'll
you
be
guys,
locked in at what I. Mm-hmm,
okay, that's good. Listen,
yeah.
it's good to know. Okay.
So you have people that actually have insurance. You
Mhm,
have some of the older ones that are like they'll save a penny if they can. So
mhm.
I have a lot of people that come in that have insurance and they just want to lock it in at today's rate. And even if their family have to pay it off with the insurance, they know that they're already locked in for the funeral that they want. And if it's $10,000 now, it's gonna be $10,000 then. You know, so that we just lock it in with them, or based on our prices. I
Mm-hmm.
can't really lock it in for another funeral home. I could write a pre-need and leave it open to where you can go wherever you want, but you would just have to deal with whatever their price is at that time. But at least you have something in the pocket to use. So that's pretty much what pre-need is. But I started in that lane. That's where I started. And then I started having families that came in that wanted to do pre-need, but I saw more of a benefit for them to actually have like life insurance. So I
Mm-hmm.
then branched off because you can pretty much use the same license. And I went in and got with the company, Ohio National, and I
Mm-hmm.
started writing life insurance because I wanted to be able to offer my families what was going to be beneficial to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of just where I started. I just started there, and then from there I started having families saying, why you don't go out into the churches and tell people, because nobody telling us this, we don't know this, and da da da, and they just felt I was so easy to talk to. So then I
Mm-hmm.
started doing seminars and just kind of went from there.
And doing what you're doing right now, being in the chat box with me, making sure
Yes,
that,
that the people
that
know.
people know
Yeah.
about this. So let's talk funeral. You know, it will be 8 years this month, July 17th, that my dad passed away.
Okay.
And thank God that we were able to bury him. You know, I had insurance and all that stuff. So we were able to move forward and, make sure everything was well. We actually took him back to Georgia. The
Okay.
good thing is back then, of course, land, my grandparents bought plots. So they have
Mm-hmm.
multiple plots. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was always said, unfortunately, whoever, starts to, leave us first, that's who will start taking up these plots. So that was something we didn't have to worry about, taking them back there. But what is the average cost for someone to bury somebody if they did uh, casket and um, ground, or if they, only stuck to the cremation part of it? What's the average price? Because you see a lot of things, and so knowing that, okay, the Bobby out here living reckless, something may happen. How much money would we possibly need to bury him? And I
Okay.
and
So our
we ain't talking about horse and carriage and videos, and we just the baseline of a possible funeral.
so I will say the on average,
Mhm.
um, I would say on average, a basic decent funeral is gonna cost you at least maybe about $7,000 on average. Funerals nowadays, it's a little bit different because I think that like the community has kind of learned how to kind of play each other. So
Okay.
it's like, okay, you can come to Victoria's funeral home, get a quote, I might say 7,000.
Mm-hmm.
So they automatically know they can come and say, oh, well, I went to
Mm-hmm.
Jabrina's funeral home and Jabrina told me 5,500.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like the community want you to stay around. They love the work that you do, but the families have or I don't know if it's the families or the industry has just taken away from the value of funerals.
The quality.
Um, yeah, and it's like, to be honest with you, you are gonna be able to go, and you can go somewhere for 5,500, but the quality of service, it's funerals is the same as like anything else. You're gonna get what you pay for. So if you
Mm-hmm.
go there and you spend 5,500, which might be great, but the presentation of the body might not be what you expect. The programs that they, the paper that they print your programs on might not be what you expect. You're gonna run it, you might be riding in older limousines, so you're gonna get what you pay for. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that an average funeral, basic should average you about $7,000 if you're not coming in to say you're going to try to make Judah Funeral Home down to make them lower their bracket.
Mm-hmm. So listen, and that's with insurance or without insurance?
I just
What does
think
it
it's across the board. If you're looking
matter?
to bury, I think in all fairness,
Mm-hmm.
about $7,000, and then it should build from there.
Now, does that cover, I guess, because I haven't
Cemetery?
right.
No. So the
Mm.
cemetery, now let me tell you, this is what's so crazy, right? Is that over time you realize, and I go through all this stuff like in my seminars and stuff. So like over the time you realize that the cemeteries are people that do not bend on a price, right?
Mm.
The cemetery will basically tell you this plot is $5,000, pay it or cremate or find another cemetery. They don't care.
Wow.
The families will come up with that cemetery money, but they will come to your funeral home and say, I only have $3,500. Now they gonna pay it. They gonna get them $5,000 up
Mm-hmm.
for the cemetery, but for the funeral home, they gonna lowball you, you know. And you do get families that come in. I won't say it's all of them because you will get families that come in, and if they got it, they're gonna do right, you know, by their loved one, or if they have it, they don't mind spending it. But I think that the cemeteries have kind of made it a little hard as well because they can keep going up. You know, during the pandemic, we had one cemetery go up 3 times, and the families they still go pay it. But now it's a cut back to the funeral home, and we're doing the most work. You know, we're the
Right.
ones having to pick up the body, dress the
Right.
body, maintain the body, take care of the body, make sure everything, and then all they're doing is like digging a hole, opening a grave, closing a grave, $5, $6, $7,000.
Wow. So besides the $5,000 to possibly $7,000 there,
Mm-hmm.
plus the seven, and it's very low, $7,000 with you,
Yeah.
approximately about, I'm gonna say 15 to 20,000 to
Mm-hmm.
bury someone.
Yeah. I tell families now you need at least $20,000 to have a decent funeral and a decent burial if you're looking to bury. You know, of course, the more, then you can leave something for your family. But if you're just looking to try to do just something basic, I always out the gate just tell them you need to have like $20,000 somewhere if you're looking to be buried. Now, if you're looking to be cremated, not so much. But if you're looking to be buried and burial is what you want, you need to have at least $20,000 put somewhere for somebody to get their hands on it.
Did y'all hear that? Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Insurance? Can it be an insurance?
Yeah, it can be an insurance. It can be an insurance. If they don't want to get any insurance, it can be in a pre-need. They can put $20,000 up into a pre-need and it'll sit there. So what we did with our pre-needs is I put them into a trust.
Okay.
So I don't house our pre-need money at the funeral home. I've seen that done too many times, heard too many horror stories because
I'm just saying, well, if people know that it's there, can't they come back and get it?
well, it's a little sticky. That's all I can say.
I'm just saying, if you that, I mean, that's anywhere. If not, let's take the funeral home out of it. If people know that you got $20,000 5 times in your house because you collected it and you have not taken it to the bank, I'm just saying. That's a quick lick. I'm gonna come again.
Right. So, but let me say it this way. Okay. So let me say it to say, okay. So I write for Great Western.
Okay.
So Good Shepherds is housed under Great Western. When you do a pre-need with me, your money does not come to Good Shepherds. It goes to Great Western.
Right.
When something happens, we put in a claim form. Great Western pays us, right? That ensures that your money is where I say it is at all times. So that means, God forbid, something happens to me, something happens to, God forbid, Good Shepherds, nothing happens to your money.
Right.
Okay. So like there's been like horror stories to say like funeral homes may house their own money because they can. But I've always like been a little iffy with that because I'm like, okay, what if a funeral home falls on hardship? Like my money is accessible. It's right there. So I just don't I just don't play with people's money because I don't like my money to be played with. So I feel like people they feel secure when they know their money is secure and when they know that they can trust you because there's no way I don't have to worry about it because guess what? Once I write them, they get paperwork from Great Western. that says your policy has been written for this amount.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you gave me, you can see it on a contract that I gave them. It leaves me cut and dry, and I don't ever have any problems with my pre-needs. Never. And I've been doing pre-need for a couple of years, and it keeps me from having any red tape.
Mm-hmm.
They just house their money, and at that time, we put in a claim form, and they pay us. Cut and dry.
Listen, y'all want some cut and dry people in your life. Make sure that the money is there.
Cut and dry.
Y'all know when people pass away, unfortunately, the one thing that Black people fall out about is money. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you are ready. Listen, it is Monday. You're in the chat box with me. I am Jabrina Speaks. I am super excited to have this raspy voice that's going on. But God is still good because I did not have any voice on yesterday. So it is coming back slowly but surely. And I'm super excited and blessed to have the amazing Miss Victoria Sheppard in the chat box with me. I pray and hope that you're getting something out of this, because one thing that we must all know, whether we want to believe it or not, is that we're all going to leave here. And like the song says, are you going to be ready for his return? Are you leaving your family members with a debt or trying to figure out which way to go? It's I say this in all due respect, but there's no reason for it when we have people like Victoria already in place that is well and educated to help all of us get through this process. And you don't have to wait until someone passes away to get ready. You need to be getting ready now. And so if you are looking for insurance, if you are looking like, well, you know what, I want to just go ahead and start paying off my funeral, go check her out. Go check a Good Shepherd's Funeral Home and Cremation Center out, because there is going to be the day that somebody is going to get the call. And it may be for you or it may be for somebody else, but is your house in order? And so that's what tonight's conversation is about. Every first and third Monday, exactly at 7:45, there is always a new business owner in. And so tonight, I have the owner of a Good Shepherd's Funeral Home and Cremation Center, Miss Victoria Sheppard, in the building. So Victoria, you get a call 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, you know what that call is. How do you prepare yourself for those calls or those pickups? How are you mentally, or how have you gotten mentally ready for those things? Because maybe prior you were more, it was more emotional for you. Maybe now your skin is a little bit tougher, so you know how to deal with it. So tell us about that.
Um, to be quite honest with you, I think that it's something that you really don't ever get used to. It affects you differently, of course, the closer that it like hits to home or people that of course. But those calls, like, they're never easy at those 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it's like still that same effect, I can just say that, like, it just comes along with having a heart for the people. I will say it's just like being a teacher. You really have to have a heart for those kids to really be able to teach them and do what you need to do. But I've had many conversations at 3 o'clock in the morning, and if I catch a call and I just happen to be the one answering the calls that night, and I'll have a family say, we calling back because we gonna go with you because you were the one that was the most patient, or you were the one that explained everything. People just want to know that you care, because in that time, that's their most vulnerable state. And I made a comment at one of the seminars or churches that I spoke at a couple of months ago, and I said, people don't realize, but when people are grieving, that's the most common time for somebody to take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if that door is open, somebody that's gonna is gonna walk in it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when they call me, I'm gonna always be upfront. This is gonna be the charge. This is what you're signing. Make sure you read this. Make sure you do this, or make sure you know that. And a lot of times people won't take the time to let people know, because most of the times when somebody dies, it's a cut and dry moment. They got to make a decision right then.
Mm-hmm.
But what families don't understand is the moment that a funeral home picks up that body,
Mm-hmm.
your charges start. So I make sure they understand it. I understand that you're grieving, but there are certain things, because it's also business at this point. Because if you don't have a pre-need, that's what makes it easy. Because when I get those pre-need calls, they just call and say, hey, such and such passed away, she already has a pre-need with you. I send somebody to pick them up. Nothing to explain. When they
Mm-hmm.
come in, everything's already ready, cut and dry, sign the
Gotcha.
claim form, and it's done. And it allows families that moment to really be able to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're trying to figure out funeral homes, don't nobody know where they want the body to go. This one like this one, this one like that one, this and this and that. But the moment that the funeral home comes out, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when the charge starts. The moment that funeral home picks up that body, you owe them money.
So I have a question. You say pre-need,
That's where I write them in advance.
right? So would you recommend that now? Um,
A lot of our families do
for
it.
families, like people may be hearing this and may have never heard it before. So
hmm
people, you know what? Like maybe I need to go look into that. Would you say that's a great recommendation if people can and feel comfortable going and
Absolutely.
preparing themselves now, so they're not waiting, or families don't have to figure out, well, what color they want to wear, how many cars we're gonna need? It's already done. Would
It's
you recommend
already there. Absolutely. Because I look at the effect that it has on the ones that do it versus the ones that don't.
that?
When they're coming in and now it's like 10 of y'all coming in, and now this one's saying red, this one's saying she like purple, this one's saying she like pink, it just leaves less room for error in that way, because they know mama came in, she sat down with Miss Sheppard, and she went over all this. So now
Mhm.
if we just want to come in and add an extra limo, but mama picked out everything, she picked out her casket. And I just look at the um like the security of it for the family, that they don't have to do that. And it seems more sentimental that the person came and picked it for themselves.
Mhm.
So absolutely, if they can do it, I absolutely recommend it. If they don't do it with us, they just have to make sure that whatever, I always just say, make sure whatever funeral home you go to, that they're licensed
Mhm.
to write pre-need, because there's funeral homes that will accept pre-need and they're not licensed. So if
Mhm.
something happens to them, something happens to your money,
Money.
because they're not licensed to be writing it. So my only suggestion is just make sure the funeral home is licensed. But yeah, pop into a funeral home that you like, Google them, research them. If you saw a funeral that they did and you liked it, I would
Mhm.
definitely go there and inquire about it. Absolutely. It's definitely better on your family at that time. Absolutely.
That's great information. I
Yeah,
really, I really
absolutely.
like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
I really like that information. I think one of my family members just did that.
Yeah.
You're saying that, but I think so. So yeah, that's really good to know. Listen, y'all, it is Monday. We're in the chat box. I'm excited to have just the small little voice that I have, but we're getting some great information from Miss Victoria Sheppard herself. And so if you have any questions that you want to ask, is definitely you can write them in the comments, because I'm sure she can ask answer, excuse me, some questions. And so, Victoria, you still here? I think you're oh, there you are. I think you're coming back. You coming back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you still there? There you are.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I think you went out again. Are you back? We're going to see if she can come back. But yes, it is Monday, and you're in the chat box with myself. My name is Jabrina Speaks. I'm super excited to be speaking A little raspy, but it's definitely coming back. And so I have the amazing owner of a Good Shepherd's Funeral Home and Cremation Center right here, Miss Victoria Sheppard. You back, sis? You good? You got it?
It's working.
Yes.
Yeah, it's back. It said I lost the connection.
Oh, okay, okay. You're good. You're good. So after hearing how you got started and where you are now, what would be one piece of advice that you can give families on tonight?
Um, hmm. So I always say, people buy a car, they insure their cars. They buy houses and they want to make sure that something happens to their house, it floods, that they have insurance. They get cell phone insurance, because we serious about these Apple devices sometimes. We get this
I'm
cell phone insurance, we get every kind of insurance.
I'm team Android.
Oh, but I'm sorry, you probably an Android, so your messages are green, but we love you anyway. So you insure your Android, right?
That's why you didn't respond to me. Oh, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna talk you out of it one day, but it's okay.
Never.
But but they insure their phones, their cars, their houses, everything. They buy health insurance, they buy everything, but life insurance is the most needed, and it's at the bottom of the totem pole. All I can say is that life insurance is important. Not only is it important in death, but it's also important in life if you go and get the right education for it. It really does build generational wealth when you can take and make investments from it. I have to get into it at a later date, but it's very important, and I think that it should be more important to our community than it is. And I feel that people should not want to see their moms and dads having to do fish fries and GoFundMe's and different things of that sort. There's something for you. Even if you have an underlying condition, there is something for you. I have something for you. Even if you have a heart condition, even if you're HIV positive, even if you've been to prison, even if you have heart failure, I have something. Cancer, I got something for you. Pre-need, you don't have to qualify for that. Life insurance, you have to almost pretty much be healthy, but pre-need, anybody can put a pre-need. And I feel like do something, even if it's just a simple $10,000 pre-need. Give your family a starting point, because it's important to watch any family sit at your table and have to cry because they don't have the money. Like, that's another level of hurt for me. I don't like to see people sit at our table and the first thing they say is, my son had no insurance. Like, how can you help me? And you can see the pain in their eyes. And if that's not enough to just make you do it for yourself, do it for them. So that's my word of advice. Just do something. Life insurance, pre-need, there's options. You just have to know where to go and how to tap into them.
Love it. I have a young lady saying, how can I schedule an appointment to discuss my pre-needs affairs? So how can they contact you? Because I'm telling you, people probably didn't think it was there. I didn't know the proper name for it. And so you dropping this knowledge on the night. And so how can she connect with you and anybody else that may be listening and may didn't ask the question, but they need your information?
So, Good Shepherd's Funeral Home. We are a Good Shepherd's Funeral Home. Our office number is 954-909-4821. That's the central location. And our Homestead, Florida City location is 786-504-3021. You can also Google us. And like I say, for any business, take your time, read the reviews. I'm very big on making families leave reviews. Our families run to that Google and do reviews. So we're not just 5 stars for nothing. The level of excellence in the service that we give to our families, go read it for yourself. Like, find a funeral home, your funeral home of choice. If you want to come and see me, you absolutely can. And I'll help you definitely in any way that I possibly can. So check us out on, we're also on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I don't know if they can see me on Facebook from here, but I'm also on Facebook as well. But I can be contacted on any platform. Call the office and
we're
the
live
secretary
on
definitely
YouTube.
get you to me.
We're live on YouTube and on Facebook.
Oh, see, look, you fancy.
Yeah, we're live on both. So they can see you. People ask, so that's what let me ask. There was a question I did want to ask you, and it just ding dong went out the head. I know she asked that, so you answered that. Y'all make sure y'all follow. So
and I also, just one other thing, I also have a journal. So I have a journal.
Get out my head. I want to tell us about your book.
So I have a journal that I created, and in this journal, it basically walks you through made everything easy. Thank you. I can't see who that is, but thank you. So it basically walks you through beginning to end of a funeral service almost. So it tells you about like wills, trusts, probate, estate planning, healthcare surrogates, lock boxes. Like it lets you leave everything in one place for your family, because sometimes families come in and this one has the life insurance papers, this one have an obituary they didn't try to write down on this piece of paper, this one got this. So it allows a person, some people may not want a pre-need, some people may already feel like they have millions of life insurance, $1 million life insurance, but they still need something or somewhere to keep everything where the family doesn't have to go look for it. So it keeps the family from having to, let's say, okay, tomorrow we got to go and tear up grandma's house so we can try to figure out who her policy with. Then we got to try to figure out who's grandma's beneficiaries. So it at least allows somebody to go and say, okay, grandma, you got Prime America policy, $100,000. Who's the beneficiary? Okay, Jabrina. You know what I mean? It allows you to, so now that cuts time down at least halfway, because now you already know this is the policy, this is the value, she's never borrowed from it, this is who holds her mortgage, this is where she got her cars, she got land in Georgia, everything will be there. And it just allows one to bring that book, go to your funeral home of choice, whoever that may be, and at least half of the work is already done, not only for you but for the funeral.
And what can they purchase this book at?
So you can purchase it on my website. You can also inbox me, but you can purchase it on my website. It's www, and just like my name, VLShepp, SHEPP.com. So it's Victor Larry SHEPP.com, and you can purchase it on there. I actually have them on sale this week for $20.
Come on, I need to send my money so I can get one, because I would like to have it. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Listen, catch the book while it's on sale this week for the $20. Drop the website one more time.
It's www.v as in Victor, L as in Larry, S as in Sam, H as in Harry, E as in Edward, P as in Peter, P as in Peter.com. So it's VLShepp.com.
VLShepp.com. It's so good they even called to check to me after the service. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. She said that you guys called after the service was over to make sure that the family was good. Yeah. It's a blessing.
Our families are our families, for real.
And, right. It's a blessing to have people come on here and give reviews right in the middle of the conversation. Yeah. So then people can see that it's real and that you offer quality over quantity. And so that's a blessing to know that. Listen, ma'am, I am not going to hold you any longer, but I appreciate you so much for coming in the chat box with me, dropping the knowledge of funeral home style. When is the next seminar? Do you have anything coming up so if people want to hear more, a little bit more in depth about your business and what is it you do? Do you have another seminar or something coming up?
Yes. So I have one coming the 22nd of this month, which is a Saturday. And it's going to be at 11 a.m. So I always try to implement different people. So this time I actually started with just saying I was going to do a little group of 30, because I felt like the smaller groups are more intimate, but I've already exceeded that. I'm like already at 50 people already. So, I'm going to have myself there. I'll be speaking on life insurance and, the different benefits of life insurance, pre-need. I have an attorney that I partner with, and he's always at all my seminars, and he helps with probate, helping making sure that your stuff is together so you can avoid probate, estate planning, healthcare surrogates, wills, trust, because there's a lot of people that think that they need a will and they may need a trust, and vice versa. And in that time, that'll be where they can have, open their questions up. So he also does, for the people that come to the seminar, he will do free consultations. So only for the people that's at the seminar, he will do a free consultation for them. And then also this time we're going to have someone there to speak on veteran benefits. So this will be the first time that I have someone there, because my last seminar, I had a guy come up to me. He's like, nobody does anything for veterans. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, we don't get anything. We don't know nothing. Can you please? And this man was so serious about it that he went to the veterans office, went and got a card for me, brought it back. That's just how serious he was. He went to the veterans office, got a card, brought it back.
That was nothing but the Lord opening up the doors to that kind of thing. That's what that was. God is expanding.
He was serious about that.
And so to know that there, quote unquote, was nothing out there, something, and it was you and your business that brought the something to them.
Yeah. So he went and got it. So we have them. So they'll be there as well. So this time, instead of the cemetery, I implemented the veteran benefits for the veterans, so that we can at least make some kind of connection for them, so that they can know what benefits are available to them in life and in death as well.
So how often do you do the seminars?
So I was doing them quarterly. I normally try to do one every 3 months. But it seems like now I'm kind of being pushed into the direction of doing it every other month. Okay. So I'll probably be doing another one maybe sometime in September.
Okay. Only because I got something on July 22nd. That's why I'm like, no. I definitely want to.
I'm going to do another one.
If you have a flyer or anything, definitely want to share it so people can know, that may want to come out, so they'll have the information. Do you have any last
And unfortunately, it's not live stream. It's not live stream. I get people asking me all the time, is it live stream? But I do not live stream it, just for the privacy of those that are there. And I like to try to keep that, rapport with people. Sometimes you may get a little live video here and there, but if you do, it's not where it's like showing anybody. But I try to keep them intimate. So unfortunately, if you want to know what's going on, you're going to have to come. But this time I'm going to be raffling off some stuff for those in attendance that are ready to do their pre-need, like right then. I got a lot of gifts for those that come ready. If they come ready, I'm going to be ready for them. So I want to definitely make sure I reward the ones that are ready to get their stuff in order.
Come ready, because you never know
come ready
what gift you're going to get. Listen, I appreciate you so much for coming in the chat box, dropping this amazing information, much needed information. Do you have any last words for the people?
Listen, everybody know that death is something that's going to come for us all. And just from the industry, death has no face. It doesn't challenge one person to another, one age to another. Just be ready, and get ready so that nobody has to get ready for you. Have your things in order. Your family will appreciate it. Any questions, concerns, even if your family funeral home may be another funeral home. I have people that inbox me all the time and ask me questions. I'm not biased. If you don't, use our funeral home, or our funeral home is not your preferred, I'm just here to help the people. Our heart is really with the community. It's not about whether it's our funeral home, somebody else's. If you have a question and I can answer it, I would definitely do so. Sometimes I can't answer questions that are probably more particular to a certain firm, but I can definitely get you in the right direction. So any questions, feel free to message me. You guys can call me at the office. Any way that I can help, we definitely will help.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, guys, it is Monday night. We are wrapping up in the chat box with the amazing Miss Victoria Sheppard from A Good Shepherd's Funeral Home and Cremation Center. Make sure you follow her on all social media platforms. Like she said, you can go Google A Good Shepherd's Funeral Home and Cremation Center if you need it. If you need any contact information, hit the replay button because she dropped the telephone number to make sure you can contact her. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us this first Monday in July. God is good because we are still on this side of life. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have entered into the 7th month of this year. Listen, y'all, this year gonna be over very soon. And so we want to make sure that you are well equipped and ready for possibly the call that you may get that a loved one is no longer here. So definitely reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I truly appreciate you for joining me in the chat box every first and third Monday at exactly 7:45 p.m. Have an amazing rest of your Monday night. Enjoy your Tuesday. For the ones that celebrate 4th of July, enjoy. For the ones that don't, enjoy your Tuesday. But whatever it is, know that we love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Have an amazing night. We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. We love you. Have a